Hi everyone, it's Sutieng Cubis from Coots Commercial Real Estate. Today I thought I'd do a special interview with you with a financial accounting tax professional. Over the weekend my colleague sent an article saying that real estate agents are not to give financial advice such as touching your super to pay your rent, things like that. So for me I thought, oh, who better to call than Farid. So Farid, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Farid Zaki and my business is ATP Accounting, and we are all about helping clients add value to their business, minimize their business worries, multiply their profits and divide their taxes legally. And I think, thank you for the initiative that you have. That's really great because a lot of people are struggling in business at the moment and they are asking and seeking help and advice about what government initiatives are available to help them along their business during these challenging times.
Yeah, so Farid is part of the Hills Business Chamber, part of the board. So, for Farid and myself as a member, it's really important to connect with all the local businesses and to assist in providing any help for our local community. So Farid, what is the number one question that people are asking you when they pick up the phone and give you a call?
I guess a lot of people are asking how soon can I get this money, and whether can I get this money as cash or not. So my answer to that is you need to lodge your BAS first quarter, January, February, March, when the stimulus starts. But the ATO say that they will not provide the credit until the 28th of April.
Okay.
And what I do want to stress with some of these stimuluses, it's actually a credit against your BAS, but there are some other payments that will be coming as a grant, and I will explain that across.
So there's been a few different stages of things like tax-free boosts, and could you tell us a bit more about each package, stimulus package and incentive?
Yeah, so basically there is two cash boost incentives that will come across, and it is available for employers that are employing staff, encouraging them to stay on and keep on their staff. The first one, it comes in as a tax-free payment of starting with $10,000, and that will be available at the start at the 28th of April. And it is basically $10,000 that is available based on the PAYG withheld of the employer. So it's not the gross wages, it's the actual tax withheld. If you have an employer that has not withheld any PAYG, they will still get $10,000 minimum. And that will come on or before the 28th of April. The second stage, which will be available in June, at the end of June and at the end of September, that is the second boost. And if the company has kept on the employees active at that stage, they will get 50% of their first payment.
So how do you have to keep them active in your books? A lot of people aren't actually physically being able to go to work and so what needs to happen?
Okay, so basically they have to still be employed, or if the employees have entitlements and they are getting paid, say holidays, things like that, that will go against PAYG. You need to actually withhold PAYG on that. There is actually full details in the Fair Work Australia about entitlements for employees during the coronavirus outlay. So if you need to outlay any staff, you need to make sure you speak to your HR professional to make sure that you are doing everything the right way.
Sure. Okay. All right. Next.
Yes. So basically, we've got those two stimuluses. Yeah. The last one, which is basically we wanted to talk about the JobKeeper payment.
Yes.
Now, with the JobKeeper payment is available to employers as well as it is available to self-employed people like sole traders and trusts, people who are trading as also partnerships. But in trusts and partnerships and dividends paid to directors, it's only one person can receive it in the business. The idea of it is basically if you have an employee and you want to keep them on, but you don't have enough funds, the government will $1,500 a fortnight for the next 6 months, and to help you continue on hiring that employee. Now, the JobKeeper payment is actually going to go in front of Parliament this Wednesday, so we'll get a little bit more details. The 1,500, you need to withhold tax from it and then pay the employee the net amount.
Oh, okay. And so in terms of the process to do everything, like all the paperwork, what's the best way to do that? That information.
Thank you for that question. So the first two initiatives we talked about, you don't need to actively do anything except lodge your business activity statement.
Okay. Which you have to be doing anyway.
Yes. And we encourage people to actually lodge their business activity statement. And a little bit later on, we'll talk about initiatives that the ATO is putting forward to help people with payment plans and low interest charges that they will help people to make payments by. With the JobKeeper payment, at the moment the ATO has a link, and I'm happy to share with your followers that link where they need to register their interest, that they think that they will be an employer that want to keep that. This is also available, like I said, to you, to sole traders and partners in a partnership and beneficiaries in a trust, but as long as they're carrying on a business.
So do they have to show, their sales or something to show that, we are eligible for this?
Yes, so with the last one, the JobKeeper payment, at the moment, before legislation comes, the amount that they told us it will be, they need to show a drop of 30% in turnover.
Okay.
Remember, we're talking about turnover, not profit, so it's the income before the expenses. So as long as they can show that there is a drop of 30% in the turnover, they will be eligible for that. But watch that space, because there could be a bit of changes when the actual legislation comes through.
And you're talking about 30%. There's some businesses who actually have traded exceedingly well.
Yes.
So in comparison from, last year's March, how will that work?
So they will not be eligible. So if the turnover has actually increased or stayed the same, they will not be eligible for this initiative. This is basically an initiative for businesses who have actually lost in their turnover and have no availability to continue on hiring staff. Because I guess if your business is not affected and your turnover is still the same or more, you still have the availability to pay cash to your employees and basically pay their wages, so you do not need to tap into that. But talking about businesses affected as a result of the coronavirus, if your business is actually in New South Wales, there is also another initiative that is actually put forward by the New South Wales government. Now remember, this is only available for New South Wales businesses, where if your business was adversely affected by the coronavirus and you have wages less than 900,000 and your turnover is at least 75,000 a year, you are basically able to apply and get a 10,000 grant from the New South Wales government. Now with this one, you actually need to physically apply for Services New South Wales, which is a government.
So you've got to line up.
So you basically just go online and do that application, and that application will be available until the 1st of June. So it's quite important if your business has been adversely affected as a result of government shutdown. You can apply to that, but remember that's only available for the New South Wales businesses.
And is this something that they have to pay back, or is it just this is the lump sum payment, here it is?
Yes, no, it's they don't have to pay back. That's availability the government is giving to help out businesses continue on.
And how do you think this effect of providing funds to businesses, like how will it affect us moving forward? Inflation or paying back, loans and mortgages?
Yeah, look, a lot of people have actually been talking about, how this will have effect on the Australian economy going forward. But I always say you need the government to step up and help, which they are, and they're doing a great job at it. We can't stay back and do nothing about it. And the help that the government is giving to businesses, it's very welcome, because otherwise businesses will fold up much quicker. The idea of that help is basically to keep businesses open, because a lot of these businesses are supporting individuals, so it makes a lot of sense that the government steps in and helps. Yes, it will affect on the long term, but if they do nothing, it will affect it on the long term as well, and it is going to be much worse, because realistically people will actually, if they lose their jobs, they lose their businesses, they're going to line up and get Centrelink, which will affect the government on the long run anyway. So aren't you better off to help them stay on with businesses and keep generating and helping other individuals? On the long run, that will be even better.
Sure, that's great.
Okay.
And so any other initiatives that the government is providing?
Yes, so there is this instant assets write-off. So if anybody is interested to buy any assets, at the moment they have 150,000 that they can claim outright. In the past you were limited to actually have that depreciated, but you can claim that outright. There is certain exclusions of what assets. So for example, if you're buying a motor vehicle, the motor vehicle asset cannot be more than 57 if you want to write it down straight away. 57,581. Anything above that is considered as luxury. Then of course there's also the leased assets, and also software has to be depreciated. But just to answer your question, I think a great initiative that actually available by the assistance of the government is through the ATO. And we touched on that before, where we said it's quite important, because usually when people have financial difficulties, they tend to not do their business activity statements, because they think, look, I don't have the money to pay it, so I might just well not prepare it and lodge it. For these stimulus, especially the first one and the second one, for you to be able to actually get the stimulus credit in your BAS, you actually need to lodge your business activity statement. It's very important. So if you do lodge the business activity statement, and after the stimulus payment you still have an amount due and payable, my suggestion is to reach out either through your tax agent, if you have a tax agent, an accountant, or through or ourselves for sure, or the tax office, and request them to give you some payment plans. And they have promised that they will actually waive the interest, and they will waive any penalties, and they will also enter into payment arrangements where the interest rate is pretty low, to help businesses, because they realize that businesses are struggling at the moment. Now, I just need to stress as well, it's very important that you still maintain your superannuation obligation timelines. That is not one of the things that you can actually delay, so it's quite important that you get that on top. Also, with PAYG installments, for those who are paying PAYG installments because they have, say, positively geared properties, or they have assets, and those assets have generated them positive income, and they have to pay PAYG installments the last 2 quarters, and they think that their income will not maintain the same, they can waive that and lower it in the next 2 quarters as well.
Okay, that's great. And in terms of how we were first mentioning about accessing your super, what are your thoughts on that personally?
Okay, so look, firstly, I need to say I'm not a financial planner. So I'm not giving financial advice. You need to make sure that you seek financial advice from your financial planner. But the idea is the government has allowed, as part of the stimulus, access in case of hardship, where you can access $10,000 before the end of June, and another 10,000 after the 1st of July. But this is in case of hardship, and in case where you actually don't have any accessible funds and you need these funds to actually pay for it. But my advice to anyone who is going to do that, before you do that, please speak to your financial advisor, because you can basically work on different things that you can apply for, rather than you accessing your super. But if you do need to access that super, it is going to be free of tax, and you do not pay any tax on that. And also, part of the initiative, they said that it's not going to affect your Centrelink payments. If you're going to apply for Centrelink, you are hardship and you're going to apply for Centrelink because you're not employed, that is not going to affect your Centrelink payment as well, which is quite important.
Yeah, because I know I've heard other people saying, oh, well, the shares are going to go up, put more money into your super. So I guess, there's so many different ideas of what to do with super. Definitely check with your financial advisor on things like that.
I think it's very important because there's actually been a warning going out where it's actually talking about where people are actually saying withdraw money and put money into super. Now that is not this initiative was not meant to be that so people can exploit it and try to do things with it that is actually not the right thing.
No.
This was meant
a last
basically
resort.
as a last resort
Yeah.
in a case of a hardship. So it's very important that you need to understand that. And if you are to get money out of your super, what is the value of that $10,000 in real money? And that's what you need to address, and that's where a financial planner will assist you into looking at that. But please do speak to a financial advisor about that.
Okay. All right, excellent. And anything else that we need to watch out for in the news?
Look, I think basically you need to keep updated because, as you know, a lot of these things are changing all the time, and the government is announcing more and more things. On Wednesday, we're going to have the JobKeeper legislation go through Parliament, and we'll see what the details of that is. So I think it's quite important that you actually keep your eyes and check for up-to-date information. And of course, ask for help and ask to get more information through Sutieng. I think it's really great that you are doing that, but it's quite important that people ask professionals and don't be scared about asking because that's the last thing that you want to do is basically not reach out for somebody where you can ask and get professional advice.
Okay. Excellent. All right, thank you so much, Farid, for your time today.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
If you have any further questions in regards to accounting and your tax, please contact Farid. What's your website, Farid?
So the website is atpaccounting.com.au.
Yeah, and you're all on social media?
Yes. So we've got Facebook, ATP Accounting, and we are also on Instagram, ATP Accounting _ and then on Twitter as well as in LinkedIn, Farid Zaki, yes.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.